Welcome to Star Watch Now, your front row seat to all the hottest gossip, drama, and breaking news from the world of entertainment. If it's trending, shocking, or star-studded, we're covering it. Stay tuned. You won't want to miss what's coming next. What if the most guarded heart in entertainment was quietly unlocked by just one person? What if behind the flashing cameras, press interviews, and perfectly curated public image, there lived a silent love story, never spoken, but always seen? This is Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan. And this is the love that doesn't need to be explained because it's already felt. To understand the quiet shock of warmth that ripples through Wang Yibo whenever Xiao Zhan draws near, you first have to picture the man as the industry has taught us to see him. Composed to the point of austerity, every gesture trimmed of excess, every smile pre-approved by caution. He has spent years cultivating an image of almost glacial self-containment, part defense mechanism, part professional armor. Reporters describe him as efficient rather than friendly, polite rather than open. On variety shows his answers land with the precision of a metronome, never an octave too high, never a beat too soon. But the moment Xiao Zhan steps into the same frame, something inaudible yet unmistakable fractures that surface. The change is not dramatic. No sweeping rom-com flourish invites attention. Yet it is so visceral that even the most detached observer feels the temperature lift. Shoulders that were square with discipline lose their rigid line, as if someone has quietly unhooked a weight. Eyes that normally survey the room like security cameras slide into a softer focus, tracking one person instead of many. And then there is the smile. Not the polite crescent summoned for red carpets, but a shy, almost private curve that brightens the entire lower half of his face and makes the viewer suspect they are intruding on a moment meant for two. The fascination lies in how involuntary it all seems. Wang Yibo is a consummate performer. He can command a stage with a single tilt of his head. Yet these micro-expressions betray him precisely because they appear unedited. In freeze frames you can see the second his lips part for a laugh he did not plan. The instant his eyes crease in genuine amusement before logic reminds him there are lenses everywhere. When Xiao Zhan speaks, Yibo's body inclines by imperceptible degrees until he is leaning just close enough to catch a secret, though none is offered aloud. It is the posture of someone who has forgotten the crowd, who has allowed instinct to outrun calculation. For audiences accustomed to choreographed chemistry, this unguarded warmth feels startlingly intimate, like witnessing a candle flare in a room we assumed was chilled to stone. Every tiny concession, the slower blink, the relaxed jaw, the almost imperceptible step forward, becomes proof that the ice was always thinner than it looked, that beneath the immaculate veneer lived a man waiting for permission to thaw. What makes the transformation resonate across languages and cultures is its relatability. Viewers recognize, perhaps from their own guarded lives, how extraordinary it is to encounter the one person who dissolves our defenses without even trying. The warmth is unexpected precisely because the cold was so convincing. It reframes Wang Yibo not as an unreachable idol, but as someone brave enough to let a fragment of his real self bleed through the performance when the right presence enters the room. And in that fleeting softness audiences find hope. Hope that authenticity can still slip past the most carefully built walls, and that even the iciest composure may yet be melted by a simple, unspoken bond. There is a kind of conversation that unfolds in the space between two pairs of eyes, a dialogue too delicate for microphones yet too resounding to be dismissed. When Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan occupy the same frame, that conversation starts before the first syllable breaks the air. It begins with Yibo's glance, swift, almost reflexive, checking the distance between them as if to confirm that the gravitational pull he feels is real. His pupils widen by a fraction. You would miss it if you blinked, but the camera never does. What follows is a subtle exchange of permissions. Xiao Zhan meets the look with a calm steadiness that neither invites nor rejects, simply acknowledges. In that acknowledgement Yibo's shoulders ease, and you sense an unspoken agreement. For these few seconds, words are unnecessary. Watch closely as the interview progresses. Each time Xiao Zhan starts to speak, Yibo's gaze flickers towards him and holds. It is not the dutiful attention artists grant a co-star during press junkets. It is focus edged with protectiveness, as though he is guarding a fragile flame from an unpredictable wind. Xiao Zhan, feeling that silent guard, will occasionally angle his eyes back. Never longer than etiquette allows, yet long enough to send assurance across the table. They do this repeatedly, weaving a private thread through a public tapestry, trusting that most viewers are too occupied with the spoken answers to notice the silent script running underneath. Their eyes also reveal vulnerability. At large events, the crowd noise can be a physical pressure, but you can see it lift whenever their gazes intersect. Yibo's features soften, the tension at the corners of his mouth releasing just slightly, while Xiao Zhan's eyes brighten with a quick flash of amusement that seems to say, "We're fine. Keep breathing." In those moments, Yibo's usual composure is not broken. It is simply set aside, the way one might gently remove armor in the presence of someone safe. That surrender is fleeting, but the tenderness it exposes lingers like warmth on glass after a hand is lifted. What makes this visual language so compelling is its paradoxical clarity. It contains no vocabulary, yet it is specific. Reassurance, curiosity, a pulse of shared humor, a warning that the question has grown too intrusive. There is even a heartbeat of encouragement when Yibo's gaze drops to Xiao Zhan's hands as he gestures, inviting him to continue. The reciprocity matters. The eyes speak only because they expect to be understood. It is the certainty of being read correctly that allows them to risk saying anything at all. For the audience, decoding these looks becomes an exercise in empathy. Viewers project their own desires for unspoken understanding onto the pair, finding in those glances proof that intimacy can exist without declaration. Every captured eye contact becomes a small testament to the human longing for recognition, to be seen fully, quickly, and without demand for explanation. Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan offer that recognition to each other so naturally that it feels less like performance and more like muscle memory, a skill learned in private and carried into the glare of public life. In silent communion, their eyes affirm what words might complicate, the simple, subversive truth that some bonds thrive best in the hush between sentences. The most revealing evidence of Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan's bond surfaces when the spotlights are cooled and the audience has already filed out, leaving only corridors washed in fluorescent hush and the muted buzz of walkie-talkies. In those untelevised pockets of time, Yibo stops being the razor-sharp performer choreographing every breath for public consumption. He becomes the colleague who remembers that Xiao Zhan's throat dries during long recording blocks and, without ceremony, presses a fresh bottle of lukewarm water into his hand before the production assistant can notice the need. Cameras have captured the exchange more than once. No grand gesture, just a brief transfer of concern delivered with the casual certainty of habit. The same pattern reappears when costume staff swarm backstage adjusting sequins and safety pins. Yibo's eyes track the flurry until they land on Zhan, then soften as he reaches to smooth a collar the stylist somehow missed, an almost parental instinct that betrays how attuned he is to the smallest disarray in the other man's presence. During early morning rehearsals, when the set still smells of sawdust and stale coffee, crew members mention that Yibo often arrives first but lingers near the entrance, phone in hand, until Xiao Zhan's silhouette appears through the loading bay. Only then does he wander toward makeup, as though the day has officially started. It is the backstage equivalent of waiting at a gate to make sure a friend gets home safe, recast inside the machinery of celebrity life. These gestures do not read as strategy. They lack the flourish of performative camaraderie. If anything, they seem almost utilitarian, small tasks assumed by whichever hand is closest, as if the two men share a silent agreement that comfort is a job neither should outsource to strangers. There are quieter moments still, caught only because a staffer's phone kept rolling. In one clip, Xiao Zhan sits on the stage apron rehearsing a guitar cue he rarely plays live. He misses a chord, laughs, sighs at himself, and glances up in reflexive embarrassment. Yibo, leaning against an amplifier a few meters away, answers with an encouraging nod so understated it could be mistaken for indifference if not for the timing. Precisely when reassurance was required, no sooner, no later. He does not applaud or tease. He simply receives the imperfection and hands back acceptance, the kind friends give when they know applause would feel performative. What resonates with viewers across languages is the ordinariness of these scenes. A shared snack balanced between two dressing room chairs, a whispered joke while microphones are tested, the inevitable eye contact across a chaotic photo backdrop that settles each man's shoulders. In a world that packages intimacy into clickable moments, their behind-the-scenes bonds are almost defiantly unremarkable, which is precisely why they feel real. They remind the audience that while a performance can sell a fantasy, the truest narrative often unfolds where no script is required, where one person simply chooses, again and again, to make the other's path a little easier before the lights rise for the next act. From their untamed days to their solo careers, their chemistry has never faded. It's evolved. Both men have faced storms, public pressure, industry politics, online scrutiny. But through it all, they've remained each other's constant. When Yibo speaks about balance and comfort in his interviews, fans know exactly who he means. And Zhan? He never distances himself from Yibo's presence. Instead, he responds with the kind of quiet grace that says, "I see you. I'm with you. I'm not going anywhere." Recently, fans caught a fleeting clip during an awards show. Yibo, in the middle of a sea of celebrities, turned his head ever so slightly the moment Zhan laughed backstage. Just a split-second moment. But real fans know it means everything. At a charity gala, while standing among dozens of performers, Yibo instinctively looked around when Zhan exited the stage. He didn't speak, but his eyes scanned the crowd, as if checking. Where is he? Is he okay? These aren't dramatic moments. They're human ones. And that's what makes it powerful. In a world where celebrity relationships are often fabricated for clicks, this one feels real. Too consistent to be coincidence. Too emotional to be dismissed. Love doesn't always shout. Sometimes, it shows up quietly. In a protective glance, a soft smile, or the way someone always stands just a little closer. Wang Yibo may never say the words "I love him" out loud, but he shows it in every unguarded moment, every subtle gesture, and every time he lets the world see the man behind the mask. And Xiao Zhan? He lets that love land, with a warmth that says, "I already know. This isn't fanfiction. This isn't a marketing stunt. This is a rare, quiet love. Honest, delicate, and real." And if you've ever loved someone in silence, if you've ever felt comfort in someone's presence without needing to explain why, then maybe you already understand. Because sometimes the most beautiful kind of love is the one that lives in stillness. Thank you so much for watching this emotional journey with us. If you felt something real today, hit the like button, share this video with someone who needs to believe in gentle love again, and subscribe to our channel.